Many times in life, we ask ourselves, why were we created? So you ask yourself, why am I created? We're living in very difficult times right now, and it seems as though times are just getting more difficult. Time is flying. We're already in March, and yesterday was Christmas. You're getting older. You had an expectation of where you would have been, and you think, okay, well, I haven't done everything I thought I would have done, and it gets very discouraging. Do you even dream about things anymore? Or if you do you dream with hope? Is there something such as purpose?
So what is purpose? Purpose is the reason for which something is created and why something exists. So just to bring things into context for us, what we're talking about is, why have we been created, or why do we exist? What's our purpose for all of this?
So firstly, we must know that we were created by God and for His purpose. Colossians 1:16 says, "For by Him were all things created, that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether they be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers, all things were created by Him and for Him."
So we must know that if it is God's purpose for our life, it will not be contrary to His word. And apart from that, it will also be something that is well thought out and deliberate. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 9 says, "Who hath saved us and called us with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His own purpose and grace, which was given us in Christ Jesus before the world began."
Right. And we must know that His plan for us is good. His purpose for our lives, it's good. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." So when we talk about what is purpose, purpose is that we were created by God for God's purpose.
Right.
It will always be something aligned with His word.
Yeah.
God's purpose for our lives, it's well thought of. Remember, His thoughts and His ways are higher than our ways. It will be deliberate. And it is a good plan. It is a good purpose. Remember, God knows everything.
Yeah.
He knows the end from the beginning. We don't know everything, not even in comparison to what God knows. So that should give us hope.
Great, so we know what purpose is, but what is not purpose? Purpose is not our will. Consider Abraham. So God promised him a son, right? Abraham and his wife Sarah, they looked at their circumstances, age, well, mainly really age, and they figured time is passing and the will of God is not taking place. So they went on to do their will. Sarah found someone and said, "Go ahead, Abraham, you can have an offspring," right? But woman again, at some point in time, she was upset. Very soon after, she decides that the offspring that Abraham had with Hagar had to dust it. I would not have been easy for him, and it was very much a very unnecessary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next thing that purpose is not is a profession or a trend. Many times if you ask somebody, "So what's your purpose in life?" they will refer to a profession. So let's say you believe that your purpose is to be a doctor or to be a teacher. So when the day is over, when shift is over, and you go home, are you done? Is that it? Do you just hang up? Okay, I'll just hang up my purpose and then we'll go back next shift. So this is not to say that your profession is not part of your purpose, because it very well can be, but it is not the entire purpose of your being. It's not the exact and total reason why you've been created by God.
Right. And when we talk about trends, like right now, a lot of people, you have all these people coming out with books or having talks about businesses. And then it's like, okay, have a business, you start everybody saying, if God putting up a thought in your head, a business idea in your head, and you not there having some entrepreneurial great plan, and you think you're doing something wrong. It's always according to the will of God. So it doesn't mean because it's something popular, hence a trend, that you fall into it. That's not what purpose is.
You don't have to create a purpose out of that.
Yeah. So last one we have to say, what is not purpose? Purpose is not family business or what your parents say you should be. Now, we're not hitting parents and guardians. We're not. So, okay, let's read the Bible. Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he shall go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." parents and guardians, you need to teach your children to seek the will of God. And it's not according to perhaps your bias or what seems to be prestigious as far as a profession goes. And definitely don't diminish certain traits or talents and abilities that children may have because it mightn't be of an academic nature. Suppose that is part of God's purpose for their lives, and you're discouraging it.
Right.
That is never good. It's important, and it's number one that we seek the will of God. So those are the points we have on what is purpose and what is not purpose. Purpose is always linked to God's purpose for our life. We were created by God for His purpose.
Yep.
And we must be aware of it. And regardless of the time, and we will get into that in another one of the sessions, but not yet. Regardless of the time, God's purpose, it's well thought out. It is good for our lives, and we must trust God to live that purpose-driven life.